It's speaking on what he thinks about today's events and relaying some stories after speaking to some victims today. And I think we have one other thing to turn to right now.
We're going to go back to Shelton Dodson, who's out at Cielo Vista Mall in the area where it's thought that this gunman drove out of that area.
Yes, Erica and Robert, I moved over to near the Hooters, right behind the Walmart where this tragedy happened today. Within the past half hour, I spoke with the governor, Greg Abbott, El Paso's mayor, DeMargo, and two of our representatives, Cesar Blanco and Joe Moody, all of them standing right next to where I am right now. The governor came out and made a statement, one unfortunately that he's had to make 3 times since he's been governor, on tragedies of this magnitude. And then DeMargo said something that sent shivers up my spine. It was his turn to talk, and he said, "We have to get ready for 20 funerals." And he just heard Beto O'Rourke say that, you know, not too long ago we had 18 murders in a year, and we have to get ready for 20. And I asked the mayor, how are we going to do it? And he looked me in the eye and he said, "I don't know, but we will." It put the magnitude of this day in perspective. I'll never forget those words as long as I live. I was standing right next to Joe Moody. He was clutching a rosary in his hand. He had a lump in his throat, as I've had a lump in my throat. I know you have, both Erica and Robert as well, throughout the day. Something else we heard from the mayor really pretty much all but confirms what we were talking about earlier about whether the suspect made it into Cielo Vista Mall. The call came out at 10:39. Units were on scene at 10:45. The suspect was arrested just a block from where I'm standing at 11:06. There's no way that the shots can start ringing out and 27 minutes later him be arrested, the suspect, and somehow do all the carnage inside of the Walmart and make it into Cielo Vista Mall. So we do believe that that was probably a false report to 911, an unintentional false report, I would presume. Again, that's left for the authorities to search out, but it really looks like the suspect never made it into Cielo Vista Mall as we thought. Something else, as I began to process this day, about 4 to 5 years ago, I was at a station event here on the east side on a weekend, and I needed to stop by Walmart. And I stopped at this very Walmart on a Saturday, and the place was packed. And I was standing in line, and I was just enjoying listening to the conversations. And every one of those conversations were in Spanish. I'm not fluent in Spanish, but my Spanish is not too bad. And it was just nice hearing the older couple talking about what they were talking about and the younger people talking about that. And I realized, wow, it's a Saturday. There's a lot of people from our sister city of Juarez that come over here to do their shopping on that day. I wonder how many of today's victims are from our sister city of Juarez. And speaking of victims, I just spoke to a woman here. Her name is Edie Hallberg, and she's frantic. She's looking for her mother. She said that her mother had texted one of her siblings at 10:33, and we know the gunshots started going off at 10:39. Edie went to MacArthur School tonight, the reunification center, hoping that her mom would walk in. Her mom hasn't. She still doesn't know where her mom is. Incredibly, Edie also said she used to go to school at MacArthur Elementary School. I can't imagine that she was once an elementary student there, and now a woman maybe in her 40s or 50s is having to sit in this school and go through that type of hell. Erica and Robert?
All right.
Shelton, the situation with the woman you're talking about in particular, that exemplifies what is still an ongoing situation for many who are waiting to get word or confirmation about their loved ones, correct? Right at MacArthur.
It is the most brutal thing that a family can go through and that law enforcement can go through. You know, I'm sure most of these people had an ID on them. They know who they are, but they still have to process this scene and then positively identify them, because the last thing they ever want to do is to tell a family that your loved one is dead when they're not, or alive when they're not. So police have to be meticulous about this, and they're is a huge, massive crime scene like we've never seen before in this city. It's going to take time, and I know that is no relief to none of the family members that are watching this tonight, but I would just suggest to them that they hang on close to their loved ones, their friends. They will get you through this night, and hopefully you will get word on the fate of your loved ones sooner rather than later.
Well said, Shelton.